Hello, everybody. So today is now April the 8th. It's a Friday. It's about 7 p.m. right now, and we are taking a look at KNC. So we see that on KNC on April the 10th last year, which is literally about 360 days ago. We see that it reached a high of 431.9. And right now, a year later, we're actually reaching this similar high right now. So we got to ask ourselves, is it likely for us to break a 1 year resistance on the first try? And the answer is most likely no. No, it's not possible. Okay. So we see this major trend line that's been forming here for a while now, then it finally broke to the top side, right? Do you see that right there? So if we had to figure out which wave these are in, I'm probably gonna have to guess that that's most likely one somewhere in here, and this is probably a three somewhere in there, a four, and that's most likely the fifth wave that's forming right now. So if we take a look on the 1 hour time frame that just closed here, okay, actually it was a really bullish candle that went to the upside, but this 1 hour, only 7 minutes in, it's working towards some type of shooting star candle right now. So the big question is it worth the risk right now to be shorting? We're taking a look at the 5 minute chart. There's no bearish divergence at all, okay? So we're assuming that somewhere in here, okay, on the very final one, if we take a look on the very final fifth subwave, okay, we're just looking at this wave structure right here from about 285 and up. If we go to a lower time frame from the 285 range and up over here, I'm gonna have to deduce that this is most likely the first wave somewhere in here. That's a second. This is the third. This is probably a fourth somewhere in here. And that's most likely a fifth wave that's coming close to a conclusion right now. Just connecting the peaks of waves 1, 3, and 5. We do see some resistance, but that's not something to entirely bank on, okay? So if we take a look here to the top side right now on a lower time frame, we ask ourselves, where is this 5 wave coming to an end? Okay, so wave 4 over here most likely made some sort of A, B, C in there. So we're seeing a possible fifth wave formation that's actually in place already. Okay, so this looks like it's the fifth wave of the fifth already. So we're seeing that it's starting to find some hesitation here. I'm currently in a 10,000 KNC position, which is $43,000. I'm not up a lot. I'm not up any significant amount. I'm going for a very small scalp here just to kind of dip my feet and get it wet again. I haven't taken an official trade in literally 6 days because the market just hasn't been meeting a lot of my conditions of looking for a short entry. And because of that, sometimes you really have to take a step to the backside. You got to really evaluate which trades are worthwhile to take. And I find that the best traders will always let the trades come to them. I know that it sounds very cliche to say that patience is the utmost important factor when trading, and of course managing your risk, right? Very important factors, though it's much harder to actually exercise than to actually preach. Sorry about that, I wasn't actually on camera. So now we're seeing some hesitation here. We're seeing some wicks that reject about 3% so far. So we're going to see if it's going to come to the downside or simply just smash to the upward side. Okay, so we're trying to see if we're going to get bearish momentum. We see the third wave peak possibly, the fifth wave peak possibly. So I'm looking for literally just a very, very small scalp, even 3-4%, and I'll be incredibly happy. And the reason why I'm going for only a small scalp is because I'm unsure of this wave count, okay? The wave count seems very bullish. It seems very parabolic if you're noticing it, okay? It seems very, very parabolic to the upside, and due to this reason, it's going to be difficult to scalp a large percentage. And I don't want to bank on the fact that I don't want to be shorting the entire range from December either. Although that's certainly possible that we correct the entire range. Though if we look at it in the bigger picture, we're seeing that the bulls are really coming into play, right? The momentum is high. The 3-day momentum is high. The weekly is just soaring to the sky right now. So on the higher time frame, I'm trading against the trend right now, okay? But on the lower time frame, what we're seeing is that we're likely to break to the downside now, which we are, up about $500 right now. This is one of my favorite strategies to utilize. You guys are definitely welcome to check out my website at philakone.com, where you can learn a lot more about me. Go to Explore Courses here, okay? Go to Explore Courses, and what you'll see is a lot of my strategies are up here. It's much, much different than course version 1, 2, and 3, or course number 1, 2, and 3, rather. Course version 2.0 is highly expanded. I trade much bigger sizes. My win rate's also higher as well, and with about 6 to 7 years of trading experience total, I would say that I'm definitely one of the top contenders in trading in the crypto market nowadays. I teach a lot of my lessons, such as how to quickly find trades. How did I find this trade, right? And I teach a lot about the psychology of trading as well, which is really important. Right here, people ignore it. I talk about the psychology of trading, cutting losses, golden rules of discipline, etc. And this is the strategy that I'm using here. Trade setup number 1, shorting the fifth wave. So let's see if this is actually going to break to the downside and give us a bigger run. Okay, so right now we're seeing that this is definitely a possible fifth wave. We're getting a bearish divergence here on the 30-minute chart so far. If we call this the wave 3 territory, which we are, okay, we're calling it wave 3 obviously, and here is obviously wave 5, okay? So this is the peak of wave 1. Okay, I'm just going to subdivide it for you. Peak of wave 1, peak of wave 3-ish, peak of wave 5 is what I'm banking on right now. So because this here is entirely done, I'm going to bank on the fact that all 5 of those waves are done, and I'm shorting the range of the 50% here, okay? So if I'm wrong, then this fifth wave is going to make something big. So if I'm wrong here, instead of this just being one wave to finish off the fifth, this is actually going to make 5 waves and go to the upside, right? So that's how you know I'm wrong. My stop loss is going to be taken out if it reaches above this 431 range. I don't want it to test again, okay? I really don't. So I'm going to try to see if I can capitalize on this particular structure where that's all 5 subwaves that have been counted already. Now, if that holds to be true, okay? If that holds to be true, then we should get a nice dip to the downside. On the 15-minute chart, look at this nasty candle that we're getting already, okay? We're getting this really nasty candle that shows an inverted pin bar or an inverted hammer. On the bullish side, if you get a hammer, kind of like, let's see if we can find a hammer here to show you. Like a hammer like this one, for example, that's a nice hammer candle that's pushing to the upside, okay? Hammer candles like that on the bottom, those are very bullish. But if you see a hammer candle like that at the top, it's called an inverted hammer, or you can call it a shooting star type candle. And the shooting star type candle, it indicates that the bears are trying to push down. The bulls have attempted to shoot the candle upwards, and now it has a wick rejection of 3.5%. So this 3.5% is significant because it shows that the bulls have officially tried to push to the upside for the past 15 minutes. They attempted to push up 3.5%, but what the bulls did was they completely rejected them and forced them to the downside. So in about 10 seconds, if this trade closes bearishly, or this candle closes bearishly, we're most likely going to see a momentum that will shift from the control of the bulls back to the bears. So now it closed very bearishly, which we see. So for the next 15 minutes, or at least the next 5, I would expect this right here to be fairly bearish. Now let's see if this is, so remember how I mentioned that, is this just the first wave of 5 forming, okay? Is this literally the first wave of 5? If this is the first wave of 5, it should end right here. Sorry, I'm just going to try to get some more space up here for you to see. Okay, that's what I mentioned earlier. Is that the first wave of 5? Okay, if that is the first wave of 5, then this should technically be done already, because now what we're seeing is an ABC type of correction that has already happened right here. Something like that. So now we should move to the upside. In fact, this has retraced a really good amount already. So this has retraced about 382 fib range. Okay, so let's see if it actually breaks to the upside. If it does, I'm screwed. But let's see anyways. So I'm very curious about this particular setup now, because we're seeing on the 1 minute chart is bearish. We can agree on. Okay, bearish divergence right there. But on the 2 minute, you don't really see it. Okay, you see a higher high. So we're looking at this particular wave only is on a small time frame that must be traded. That's what worries me. But if you look on the higher time frame, you're clearly seeing bearish divergence, right? But you're not seeing any crossovers here, which concerns me, right? So we're not seeing any crossovers that are coming down. We see it on the 3 minute. Yes, the 3 minute chart does show the MACD crossover that wants to start the wave to the downside, okay? But we want to see it on the bigger picture as well. If we see it on the bigger picture right here, like the last thing we want for the bears or for the bulls is just to keep going upwards and we get faked out. So that's why, due to the lack of confidence in this trade, I'm not gonna stay in a position for a long period of time. It makes no sense because I don't have that confidence, since I'm really unsure of how this trade setup is gonna go. So if I were to take all 5 of this Elliott wave structure here right now, okay, starting from right there, which is where the beginning of the wave 1 structure is, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the 5 right there that's formed. If I were to make a very conservative target right now, okay, a very conservative target, my RR would be this. So I entered around there. My stop is going to be literally at the green. No chances, okay? No chances at all. Literally only 0.8%. That's all that I'm going to give it, okay? I'm going to give it right here, right there. And then I'm going to go for a very conservative target here of 5%, okay? So if I were to get this, this would be a phenomenal trade, assuming that this is all 5 wave structures and assuming that all 5 wave structures are now officially finished as well, okay? Maybe I'll give this 1% just to be generous. 1.5%, okay? That's it, 1.5% I'll give it right there. I entered at a really decent price as 281, up a little bit more right now. So I entered at 281. My stop is going to be at, okay, my stop is going to be at 319. Actually, a little bit more than that. I'm going to enter of about 0.5%, okay? So right there, that's going to be my stop. And I'm going to take my profit here, right here. Then this is going to yield us an RR, okay? An RR of about 4 to 3. That's what it's, or sorry, 3.7. All right, so we take a look once again just to review. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And we got ourselves a really beautiful RR setup here. Let's zoom in so you can see it. We're going to target the 236 Fibonacci, right? So right now we're up 2% already on a 5 times leverage trade here. So decent so far. Wanting it to drop down definitely a little bit more. So we're starting to see here now that all 5 of these waves are forming, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these waves are definitely forming. So I'm expecting a retracement to the upside, okay? I'm going to expect a retracement to the upside soon, because I can already see it forming, right? The 15-second chart wants to smash upwards. So do I take my profit here so I can re-enter again at a different price, right? That's one question. So the answer is yes, I'm going to take my profit here of $800, which is 2%, and then I'm going to re-enter this trade. So that's capping on $800. So let's see that if this is actually going to bounce to the upside, maybe it'll get one more little dip down. I close my position here at 4.2, okay? 4.2. Now the goal is to get a better entry than 4.2. So if I can get an entry, say at 4.24, that's 1% higher, which is great because I'm still bearish on this. Okay, let's see. This should be the one now. I'm expecting this one right here to be the leading first wave diagonal, and I expect this guy to break to the upside. Let's see if that's true. There we go. It's starting to go now. Do you see the momentum shifting? The 15-second wants to go upwards. Ah, maybe not. Maybe I screwed up this trade here by taking profit too early. So the risk there that I just made, or the decision, the executive decision that I made. So, okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The executive decision that I just made right now, okay, you face some consequences. So what, like some and some danger. So one of the dangers is that it keeps going down, right? It keeps going down, and then when it keeps going to the downside, you miss a re-entry. You could have rode that profit for a bigger profit, right? But it didn't. Then you missed your profit because you missed a bigger profit because you already took it. So that's a horrible feeling to have, right? So you need to be very confident when you take your profit to re-enter at a better price. Okay. So if I'm closing my position, I mean this guy only dropped 5%, right? So we're playing on very small margin right now of what we want. Okay. So one of the biggest reasons for entering this trade was the 15-second chart right there, right? It was starting to form. The 1-minute chart here was showing that bearishly diverging RSI right here. When we compare the third and that peak, somebody in the channel asked me like, what confirmation would you wait before taking this trade? There's like a multiple set of reasons to have entered this trade, and you got to go through this video, right, to really understand my process of thinking when I'm in a trade, right? But the best way to learn, honestly, is to join my Discord group, right? Just click join here. It'll bring you to my page here where you can sign up. It's $50 a month, and you get a lot for $50 a month, guys. You get a library of lessons. Like I got 105 lessons that I write out at least once a week for people to review, and they're really good lessons, right? You're also getting 60 long lessons as well, where I analyze things in high detail, and that's 160 lessons total. And you got a few thousand live trades, I'm guessing, live trading dating back for a year. You know, even if I took 3 trades a day, which sounds about right, you know, you're gonna get over 1,000 videos there. We got a really cool motivation and mindset section as well, where I post things, you know, really cool things just to kind of keep people pumped. I got the Bitcoin technical analysis channel. I got the analysis when I'm trading channel, right? Then we got the group chat here. And right now, for example, we have how many members online? Just to show you, we got about 400 members that are online right now. It's sometimes we get up to 600, 700 people online. It's one of the biggest and most active Discord groups out there, okay? And also, of course, there's Explore My Courses here as well, where you guys can go through a lot of these lessons of mine that are highly updated. So back to the trade. So clearly I made the mistake of probably taking my profit too early here, right? So now I'm looking for a re-entry, and unfortunately I may not get this re-entry of mine because it's now too late. So I'm expecting a bounce to the upside, okay? I want to bounce to the upside, and I want to enter greater than 420. So this is most likely the final wave in here that's in already. Like this is most likely it in my opinion. 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere there's a 5, I'm gonna guess. Okay, so let's see if I'm right about that. It should bounce upwards. Okay, so we want to find a big retracement down like how we did, and then we want to find, okay, so this comes down. We want to find a bounce upwards, and then we want to enter it on a retracement to the upside. Okay, so my strategy here of taking profit early had to do with my greed of wanting to look for a better entry, and also to minimize my risk of another possible wave going to the upside. So if it retraces to the upside there, I definitely want to enter on a retracement. So here we go. It's starting to find some traction. So my ideal entry would be the golden ratio up here, okay? The golden ratio up here is the ideal entry. You don't see a lot of people live trading, honestly. Like if you go to YouTube or Twitter, you don't see guys live trading like me because they just do technical analysis. Like there's a big difference between traders and actual technical analysts. Some people make a living on YouTube literally just making technical analysis videos, and they don't know how to trade for shit. Being a good technical analyst is entirely different than being a good trader. You can be the best technical analyst in the world, but if you don't have that emotional stability and those diamond hands and a set of rules to trade, you can't trade for shit, right? That's why I would consider myself a really good person to learn from. So definitely check out my website here at philakone.com. So I made only $800. That's all right on a $40,000 position, which is 2%. But when you think about $800, That's literally 1,000 Canadian dollars, guys. And 1,000 Canadian dollars is what I had to work for about a week. Literally, I had to work for 1 week to make that kind of money. I know some of my friends, I'm sorry to say, but they work like 8 hours a day and they make like not even 20 bucks an hour. Like, I'm sorry to say, but that's I can't ever go back to that, like, because if you work for $20 an hour for 8 hours a day, you're only making $160. You know, if you're working 40 hours a week, you're only making $800 a week before tax, right? So that's kind of like, it's kind of crazy that you can make $800 in literally, like, in the duration of this video of 20 minutes, right? So you see the 30-second chart now wanting to break upwards. You see the 1 minute, not quite yet though. So it's getting some traction, right? But not quite right now. All right, so I'm gonna cut off the video here just because it's about 7, 8 o'clock now. It's time for dinner. I got no more time to trade. But what I want to be very clear about is that this retracement is coming. And the ideal place to enter the next trade would be a retest. Because if you assume that, once again, that all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these trades are now done, that this first wave coming down, because the fifth wave finished, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the first wave that's come down. There's going to be a second wave up. And what you want to do is you want to change, you want to trade with the direction of the trade. So now you would believe, if you're firm on the bias of bearishness, that there will be a retracement to the upside. And once there's a retracement to the upside, the second wave should start to the downside soon. So I'm expecting some sort of shape like that, just as an example, okay? And then I expect a descending triangle. Because right now, we want to take out the low of the fourth wave, right? Elliott Wave states that the best trade to enter would be once all 5 waves are in, okay? Once all five big waves, you want to enter on the fourth subwave of the fifth wave as it breaks down. So I don't believe that this is going to break down here quite yet. I think there's going to be a retracement upwards, and then that will be one of the better places to enter, up here or on the breakdown. So anyways, $800 or $850 in about 10 minutes of trading. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that I didn't take a trade all week, but you know what I got to do all week? I got to spend time with my puppy, who ate my passport today. She literally ate my passport today. Check this out. She literally ate my passport. The most important page. So I'm passportless right now in Turkey. Got to spend time with my cats, my iguana, my loving fiance. And when you get to trade for yourself, it's really nice to have this freedom. You don't need to be bounded to your computer all the time. You could make one trade a week. I mean, everybody has different goals, right? I'm sometimes happy with $10,000 a week, which you've all seen me do easily. And other weeks, I'm happy with just $800 a week. Because I know for a fact that $800 that I made, American, it would have taken me over a week of hustling at someone else's job, someone else's business, in some private company. It blows my mind how I'm so grateful that I have this opportunity to sit my butt here at home and still make what a lot of other people make, right? It's honest work as well, but it's not hard work. It's smart work because you've put in the skill into yourself. You invested time into learning how to trade, and because of that, right, you can easily just sit back and just chill a little bit and start to enjoy the freedom. The freedom really comes when you learn how to exercise the patience, because the patience, you need to have it so the trades will eventually come to you. Those that are constantly itching to be in a trade, it's not a healthy mentality to have. You got to really be able to sit back, chill, and wait for a trade. It literally took me a week to wait for a trade. Sure, it's not a lot of money. It's $800, but heck, it's a lot of money to some people for the amount of time that you put in. So now this is starting to break down here, I think, or it's starting to retest it. So anyways, I hope to see a lot of you join my Discord group here. Click on join Discord, and also go to philakone.com, find out about me. Right now, there's raving reviews for the course. I'm not sure how long I'm going to have it up though, because I do feel bad for releasing it still, but the demand is so high that I've got to release it. So many people are wanting the course still. They're writing great things about it. It's broken down so you can actually pick and choose what you want to learn. It's highly expanded compared to my course 1, 2, and 3. Updated lessons, advanced methods, detailed, fine-tuned. So I hope to see a lot of you in my Discord group. It's $50 a month, and especially picking up some of my courses where you get access to ask me any questions. It's not like my course 1, 2, and 3 where I was kind of like absent. I'm answering every single question, every single time anybody has it on Udemy, on Twitter, on Messenger, on Instagram, on anywhere. Anyways, I hope to see a lot of you there. Bye now. Have a good night. See you.